Hello. I don't know what happened then, but whatever happened, I had a break in my internet connection. So I'm hoping that you might catch on to this, and we'll see. Tell you what I will do. All right then, let's see if I can put a message out. No. Let's not worry. I'll just carry on. Hello, I know one person's joined me. Let's hope that the others find this. So my apologies. I don't know what happened. It cut out totally and the session finished. So we'll have to pitch the two together, get my editing skills. Now, if you're on your mat, we had finished onto our backs. And we're going to start really warming this spine up. So we're going to come onto our back. Now, just be aware of this head and neck. So try and get that towel if you need it and get that length through the neck so we can relax the shoulders. There shouldn't be any uncomfortable feeling in the neck. If there is, we might need to adjust a little bit. Now, we're going to take those feet hip width apart. You can check if you like, but you'll get to learn where that is. And we're then going to think about tightening this belt. So just drawing in without changing that shape of the pelvis, without tightening the bottom. Now, all we're going to do is just start with those little pelvic tilts. I'm going to take it a little bit slowly. Hope that you can find me. We're just going to breathe out and in. And while we're taking these pelvic tilts, we're noticing what happens with the lower back. So as we tilt and we push that imaginary tail between our knees, the lower back comes a lot closer to the floor. So while we're on our back, the ideal is when we're doing our exercises, we're looking straight up towards the ceiling. So everything, neck, spine, shoulders are in alignment. Now, what we're going to do next is bring it into bridge. So from neutral, we're going to relax the shoulders, relax those arms, tilt that pelvis, and we're going to squeeze this bottom, and we're going to peel the spine away from the mat. Now, when we're in this position, we need to keep an eye on the knees. Are they doing this? Are they doing this? We want the feet nice and firmly on the floor so you can feel the balls of the feet. You can feel the heels, toes are relaxed. And you might take, 2, 3, 4 of these to actually get into your full range. So again, shoulders relax, belt tighten. I like to breathe out as I peel away from the mat, squeeze the bottom as I breathe in at the top. And then again, making sure my belt is at 3 or 4. I'm going to press each little segment of the spine down into the mat. Relax those shoulders. Let's do this again. So we're really relaxing the feet, but you can feel those feet flat on the floor. Sometimes it's quite tempting to almost lift one part of the foot to assist the movement, but we want to really make these glutes work. Keep the knees in alignment. Keep those feet in alignment. Squeeze that bottom and come all the way back down. Good. So what are we working here? We're obviously working these core muscles. They're keeping us stable because we're off balance. Okay. We're working the glutes, the muscles in the bottom. We're working the hamstrings. Okay. We're also using these core muscles at the top of the body. The shoulders and the arms want to help. So we're deliberately relaxing them, making them stable. Good. And getting those really deep muscles to stabilize. Now we're going to hold it here. We're going to float these arms up towards the ceiling. Squeeze that bottom, draw that belt-like muscle in, and we're going to breathe out. We're going to breathe in. Keep squeezing. So we're leading with the thumb, letting the shoulders relax into this movement, not forcing it. Good. So it's lovely for shoulder mobility as well. The core muscles are working harder because we've no longer got those arms stabilizing. Keep squeezing that bottom. Now, if it starts to sink, if you start to do that, bring it down into that supine, that lying on the back position, and carry on your arm floats from there. Good. Brilliant. We're breathing out and in. And then we're going to see if we can come all the way down. See if you can do it with those arms floated. So we're really, really focusing on using those core muscles. Good. Okay, let's bring one knee and the other knee into the chest. We're just going to hug them in. Good. Okay. And then we're going to bring one foot down and the other. Let's walk those feet together, walk those knees together. We've got that support at the back of the neck, so we're nice and relaxed in the neck and shoulders. Tighten that belt. And we're going to let these knees gently fall from side to side. So we're doing our hip rolls. And this is where those shoulder blades stay in contact with the mat. We're just letting that head fall gently in the opposite direction to the knees, but everything is synchronized. So as the knees sort of come to their final point, the head does the same. The knees may go a bit further than the head or vice versa, but we're thinking about this breathing now. So really breathing out, losing any tension in those shoulders, maintaining the tension in your corset muscles. Good. In those muscles involved in just stabilizing this body. So if you think about Pilates, everything starts from the trunk. We're stabilizing the trunk, and then the movement sort of almost flows outwards. So think about it always starting here, stabilizing, relaxing the shoulders. Good. Oh, I love this one. Okay, we're going to come back to center. We're going to walk those feet back to hip width apart. Relax those arms in by your side again. Just find that neutral spine again. So remember, if the thumbs and the fingers were on the belly button and the pubic bone, neutral spine, they're on that even level. If it was a flat clock face, that's where we'd be. Slight curve in that spine, but nothing major. Okay, not enough to get your hand underneath. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to come into tabletop. So tighten that belt. And then as you breathe in, we're going to bring this knee into tabletop. Now, if you're feeling stable, you might want to try this, but if it's too much, come back down. We're going to bring that second leg up. And then we're going to take the first leg down. And we're going to take the second leg down. Now, let's change that leading leg. We're going to breathe in. We're going to breathe out. We're going to breathe in and out. So we're bringing us into that two-leg tabletop. So we're coming into two-leg tabletop, but really challenging as you come down. So as you come down, you might notice, I noticed then your shoulders really tensing. So try and keep those shoulder blades nice and relaxed. Remember that glass of water on top of the shin, knees above the hip. Good. So we're going to do 10 of these, with 5 with the left leg leading, 5 with the right leg leading. Slow and controlled. Good. We're not letting that lower back arch away from the mat. Good. So think about that breathing. Belt. Shoulders. Just let those arms relax. Notice when the most challenging part of the move is. Usually it's this second leg coming up and then down. And then you might be able to relax a little bit more. Good. I think I'm on my last one. Just do as many as you feel comfortable. And then we're going to see again if we can bring one knee into the chest and the other. This time we're going to roll like a very little wall. So we're just gently massaging that lower back into the mat. Good work, friends. So that was really challenging these abdominals, shoulders to relax, and using those abdominal muscles instead to stabilize the trunk. Now we're going to just draw this right leg into the chest, or left, whatever you've got hold of. We're going to draw it into the chest, and then we're going to draw it towards the opposite shoulder. So keep those shoulder blades relaxed. Keep that head and neck relaxed. Good. So we're getting this little stretch here. Okay. And then we're going to bring the other one in and take this one out. Good. So nice little stretch of the hip flexors of the straight leg as well. So you can really push that ankle away from center to get that nice bit of stretch. We use them a lot in this session. Draw that knee to the opposite shoulder. Good. Keep those shoulder blades relaxed. Keep that head and neck slight. That's better. Good. Don't be frightened to play with that support for the neck, particularly if you get sore neck. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to start in this supine position. So lying in our back position, long spine, shoulders relaxed, a little bit like what we did in bridge. We're going to tighten our belt and we're going to float these arms up towards the center. Now, with the arms moving together, we're going to tighten the belt and we're just going to slowly, like an arm float, take these arms over that head. So they're going to float overhead till you feel you having to engage these abdominals. Because as the arms come overhead, that's what wants to happen. So we're going to maintain that neutral spine. So we're going to really tighten. Notice if these ribs want to pop. So imagine there's a steel thread between the ribs, the base of the ribs and the pelvis, and it's not letting those ribs pop up. Good. So we're really tightening that belt, and then we're coming back. Good. So let's think about breathing out as these arms float overhead, only as far as those shoulders allow and your ribs don't pop and your back doesn't arch. So we'll all have different ranges. My shoulders better than they were, but not brilliant range on them. I'm a little bit stiff, really. So you may find you can go a little bit further. Try not to bend the elbows to increase that range. Now, if you're feeling confident, we're going to now, or if you've got room, we're going to circle those hands back round to the knees. If you haven't got room, stay with the floats over the head and back, okay? I'm just giving you a little bit more shoulder mobility. Now, if we want to challenge this movement, we are going to take one leg into tabletop or two legs, okay? So pick whichever you feel comfortable with. Remember, the deal is that you maintain that neutral spine and that gap between the ribs and the pelvis. Don't let the steel thread snap. We're going to breathe out. And we're going to breathe in. Now we're going to see if we can do 8 of these. If that feels really easy, I'm going to get you to take your knees ever so slightly away from center to challenge those core muscles a little bit more. Good. We're going to breathe out and in. If that's easy again, we're going to straighten one leg and keep one leg bent. Good. Okay. Breathe out. I think I've got 3 more. Good. Really draw that tummy button in. Keep that lovely long neck, looking up to the ceiling, breathing out and breathing in. And then we're going to hug these knees in. Find that little tennis ball, put it between your chin and your chest. And if you feel comfortable, we can lift that chest away from the floor. But we're only rolling back as far as the shoulder blades. If you get a thump, keep that head on the floor and just do this. Okay, we don't want to be putting additional pressure on that spine. And then we're going to bring one knee down and the other knee. Let's let these knees just gently fall to the side. Good. Let's have a little look. Oh, I think a few of you have found me, but not everyone. I don't know what happened earlier. My apologies. We had a break in the internet and it just cut out. So we'll carry on with this session and I'll try and get it in a decent format so it's one session for later. Now, we're going to come onto our side and this week we're going to do some clams. So you might want this towel between your head and the arm. You may not. But what we want to maintain is this neutral spine, hips stacked, and those heels in line with the tailbone. Okay. Let's see if we can lengthen through that spine and then relax this shoulder. So you may need a little bit of support. The further away the hand is, the more support. But we're going to tighten this belt. And we're going to draw the waist away from the mat. Now relax those shoulders. Keep those feet together. And all we're going to do is gently open and control it shut. Good. So we're going to just gently open and control it shut. Now, we can make things like this more challenging. If you have a looped band at home, you can put the loop band around your thighs to give yourself a little bit more challenge. So I'm going to bring that in next week and just show you. I must make a note of it. So we're going to breathe out and breathe in. Good. So nice and controlled out. And we're really going to control that movement back down. So we're breathing out and breathing in. Now we should be feeling this here. If your heels are too far forwards, you'll sort of feel it here. Okay, if they're too far back, you'll definitely feel it more here. Okay, so make sure those heels are in line with that tailbone, 90-degree angle at the knee, and we should be fine. Good, it's in there. It's in that sort of, the bit in your bottom where it sort of slightly goes in, if that makes sense. Good. Let's take one more. And then we're going to bring it down. Let's take that lovely stretch for the chest and shoulders, our open door. So palms are facing each other. We're going to just allow this head to lie on the towel. Now draw that tummy button in and we're going to just open. Now as we open, keep those hips stacked. What we don't want is those hips rolling backwards. So imagine I'd almost clamp those hips into place. And the only movement is from the top of the trousers to the shoulders or top of the head. Breathing out, feeling that lovely stretch. Breathing in, good. So breathing out, keep drawing that belt-like muscle. Keep tightening your corset, not so tight that you can't breathe. Just about a third of the max, okay? So not even half of your maximum. About a third of your maximum. It's enough to stabilize that trunk. Sometimes we need a bit more. And then bring it over. Good. Okay, my friends. What we're going to do now is we're going to just bring this arm back. We've got one more exercise. We started doing this last week. And it's a really good one to stabilize this trunk. So we want those hips stacked. If in doubt with these feet, what we don't want is them here because it makes that back arch. So either in line with the tailbone or slightly forwards. And we're going to do the kick, which isn't, it's more of a swing really than the kick. Now, if you feel really unstable, you can bend that lower leg to give you a little bit more stability. What we're going to do, hip stack, relax that shoulder, just float that upper leg so it's level with the hip. Now, you may need your support here, but remember that shoulder. Basically, as if this was a door, we're basically going to swing that leg forwards, bring it back to that start position. You'll notice you've got to really stabilize here. So open the door and bring it back. Good. We're going to open that door, bring it back. So if that's really challenging, bend that lower leg, see if you can relax the shoulder a little bit. Good. So as we come back, really squeeze the glutes. Good. And again. So nothing is moving, only this leg from the hip forwards and back. Keep drawing that belt-like muscle in, forwards and back. Good. If you're feeling like challenging, good. If you want to challenge again, I'll need some support for this. You can float that lower leg. Lovely. And then we're going to bring that lower leg down, bring that top leg down. Wonderful work, friends. Just bend the knee, push this heel away from center. See if we can just take a little stretch. Just be careful you don't overdo this stretch. Good. Bring it back and bring this knee in. Smash in. Okay, from here, let's see if we can bring ourselves up to a seated position. We're going to sit up nice and tall. So remember, sometimes if we're a bit tight here on the hamstrings, it's really hard to sit up tall. And we can just roll something up, put it under the tailbone, just to enable us to sit a little bit taller. So what I'm going to do now, under the sitting bones, not the tailbone, what I'm going to do is give you the option of straddle or straight, because what we're going to do is just open out this chest. Okay, just open out this chest. And I'm going to come here. We're just going to open, relax the shoulders down. Okay, I'm going to come back a little bit. We are going to just draw those shoulder blades down the back towards the bottom and bring it in. Now we're going to open. Good. Then we're going to bring these arms as if you're holding onto that beach ball. We're going to just tighten up, draw those hip bones together, lift this chest over that imaginary beach ball, push the tailbone down into the floor and back up. I'm going to show you from this angle. So lifting this chest, breathing out, breathing in, rolling up, relaxing those shoulders, looking straight ahead. Good. Breathing out. Rolling through that spine. Good. And we're going to take one more. Breathing out. Keep tightening that belt. We can bring in that pelvic floor, just drawing up through that pelvic floor region. And then we're going to relax these arms down. Good. What we're going to do now is just turn so that our feet are the opposite way. And I don't forget to put the clams on the other side, which you know I do quite a lot. So again, we want that 90-degree angle at the knee, and we want those heels in line with that tailbone. So it's really worth checking before you get into position, my friends. Okay, this is riding up today. So relax the shoulder and just decide how much support you need for the clams. You may not need any at all, but just watch out for that shoulder collapsing. So see if you can really slide it away from the ear and slide that shoulder blade. Open that chest like we did at the start. Good. So we're just controlling this movement, letting it flow, thinking about your breathing, thinking about drawing that waist away from the floor, keeping that chin just aligned, back of the neck long. Just gently opening and then gently controlling it shut. We've all got different ranges with this one. What we want to make sure of is if you had a headlight on this hip bone, as we're opening, just imagine that headlight staying forwards. It's still shining on the wall in front of you. It's not shining on the ceiling. Good. Okay, so let's just do one more. And then we're going to gently, gently bring this knee down into our open door, my friends. So just get that level of support you need. Relax the shoulders. Keep that little orange between your chin and the chest. And again, remember those headlights on the hip bones. Good. We're just not letting those lights move. Think about that breathing. Almost breathing out through that arm into the fingertips. Getting that lovely mobility, that stretch for the shoulders and the chest. And then coming all the way back. Such a lovely movement for those of you who've spent time in the garden this weekend. Okay, let's bring this arm back up. So remember the kick. We're going to see if we can straighten out. And, you can always just check. Hips are stacked. If you can see a lot of that lower thigh, you know that they're rolling back. If you can see your bottom, you know they're forwards. Heels in line with that tailbone. And then just trying to work out, well, can I do it with that straight leg or do I need a bit more support? Maybe start at the lower level. Good. And then gradually build. So if you think, oh, that's okay, maybe we could straighten out that lower leg. And it's like that door opening, door shutting. So keep this shoulder as relaxed as you can. You'll really I'm having to tighten my belt a lot harder with this one. Okay, so sometimes that does happen. Breathing out, Breathing in, maybe even reducing the range, gradually building that range. Lovely. From the hip, my friends. So I think we got about 4 more of these. But if you need to stop, like we said at the start, just do as many as you feel comfortable. Good. And last one. Oh, I was a bit wobbly on that one. Bring it down. And again, like we did before, we're just going to bend those knees. And then we're going to push this heel away from center. We're just going to reach over, so we're getting a really nice stretch for that trunk. Only as far as this feels comfortable. Nice and slowly does it. Okay. And then we're going to bring it down. Good. Bring that down. Bend the knees. And we're going to roll over onto our fronts now. Somehow, I'm going to sort my clothes out. So elegant. Now, you're going to need this towel possibly underneath your forehead. So just make some amendments, see if it's too much, too little. I just need a tiny bit. That's it. That's right. If it's too much, it sort of sends my head that way. So just find a position that feels comfortable. You'll know when it feels right. And then we're going to relax those shoulders away from the ears. Now let's think about that alignment for a minute. So remember that long spine. Remember your tail. Try and avoid that tail sticking up towards the ceiling. See if you can allow it to just rest comfortably on top of your bottom. So we've got that neutral spine. There's a sort of much more of a gap. If we let that tummy dome, the back arches. So find that lovely alignment, and then imagine you're lying on a bed of ice. Draw this tummy button away from the ice, the iceberg that we're lying on. Now we're going to work the lower back. So all we're going to do is lift this chest without moving that head, without dropping or lifting the chin. All we're doing is working these back muscles. And we're going to come back down. Good. Now you can engage your bottom muscles. So squeeze those glutes, lift, relax the shoulders, breathe out and breathe in. Now you can use these arms to support if you need to. Any back issues, we're not going any further than this. Don't attempt to go as far as you can. Just lift and relax it back down. Now remember, if you want to work harder, we can place the palms facing the thighs and we can draw those shoulder blades down the back as we lift. Good. Keep drawing that tummy button in. So we've got 3 or 4 more of these. You can stop, or you can do a couple more if you'd like to. We're doing between about 8 and 10 on each exercise today, guys. Good. And then we're going to come all the way down. Relax those arms. Breathe in. Find that spine again. Engage. We're going to go straight into swimming legs. We're going to do 10 on the right leg, 10 on the left. Good. So everything is stable. Squeezing these glutes. So we're working the bottom muscles, the back muscles. Squeeze. Good. So we're moving from the hip. We're not doing that. We're not leaving the thigh. Lift that upper thigh off the floor. So think about lifting the thigh, the front of the thigh away from the mat. Squeeze. Think about reaching with that foot towards the skirting board behind you, maybe even just above the skirting board. And when we've done 10 on the right, we're going to do 10 on the left. Breathing out and in. Really squeezing, guys. Keeping those hip bones in contact with the mat. Long neck, shoulders relaxed, belt active. So draw that tummy button away from the mat, particularly as you squeeze. Good. Imagine I put a plate of peas at the base of your spine, and as we're lifting, I don't want any of those peas rolling off. They're frozen as well. Good. Okay, bring it down. Now let's push ourselves up into kneeling position. Come into that cat stretch position. So nice long arms, shoulders drawn away from the ears. Draw that tummy button in. Draw that spine to the ceiling as you breathe out. As we breathe in, lengthen. Good. Don't forget to tilt that pelvis at the same time as we draw up. And breathe in. Draw those shoulders away from the ears. Breathing out. Breathing in. Good. And again. So really getting that flexion. We were extending. We were doing back extension. So what we want to do is just stretch out that spine, coming into a bit of what we call flexion. Okay, now we're going to just let this head rest down. Now you can either slide those hands forwards, get a little stretch through those shoulders, or you can bring them into a comfortable position. And relax. Notice that breath out, that breath in, breath out, breath in. Okay, bring these hands back. We're going to be working on the upper back. So we're going to take that W position, elbows lower than the shoulders, palms facing down. Okay, so let's walk ourselves out again. This time, we're going to stop engaging the bottom muscles. We're going to relax the glutes. So let them relax. We're still going to think about that alignment. So think about the long spine, shoulders relaxed. Okay, don't let that belly down, but relax the bottom. Now, all we're going to do is lift that rib cage, lift the breastbone so that the nose leaves the mat, just a fraction. We're not lifting the head, we're lifting the breastbone and down. So we're going to breathe out, tighten, gently lift just a fraction. So you could slide a piece of paper under the nose. Keep looking down. We're not looking up. It's the tiniest little movement. Good. So we're working the upper back muscles. You'll feel it around the shoulder blades. Good. Don't use that bottom. Try not to lift too high. It's a very subtle movement. Now, we're going to let the forehead relax on the towel, nose in the mat, long neck. This time, we're going to squeeze the forearms off the floor. So we're just lifting and lowering. Make sure there's some space between your elbow and your shoulder. Try not to have the elbows in. Open up like a W and then squeeze. Good. Again, we're not using that bottom. We are tightening the belt. So glutes relaxed. Breathing out. Breathing in. So we're going to take one more of these and then we're going to put the two moves together. So if you're not sure what it looks like, have a little look. Lifting the chest, keeping the bottom relaxed, and at the same time, lifting those forearms and squeezing the shoulder blades together. So we're going to do somewhere between 5 and 8 of those in your own time. So you're lifting, squeezing those shoulder blades together, slowly back down. Good. We're not lifting the head. You still got that little orange tucked between the chin and the chest. Good. Surprisingly challenging. It looks minuscule. It's challenging. And down. I'm just going to do one more. You do as many more as you feel. I know that my upper back's had enough now. So when you've had enough, bring yourself into that position of relaxation. You can either do the cat stretch or you can take that child's pose. Now, what I'm going to do with the child's pose is I'm going to slide my hands backwards, and then I'm actually going to take one hand towards the opposite side of the mat. So I'm just going to stretch out a different part of that shoulder. Then I'm going to come back. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Just let that head relax. Good. Wonderful. And then I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to slide both hands forwards. Good. Well done, my friends. Well done. Okay, so we're going to do just a little bit more swimming, hopefully arms and legs. So we're going to maintain that kneeling position. So if your knees don't like it, I'm going to get you to do it in a prone position. So remember this, belt tighten, opposite arm, opposite leg. What I'd like to do is to challenge this upper body strength and these core muscles to hold you stable. So find that neutral spine, lengthen through those arms. Good, then tighten the belt. So imagine I put a little campfire just here beneath your belly and it's burning your belly. Now we are going to keep looking at that invisible line that crosses the fingertips, but we are going to just imagine we're on sand and we're pushing the fingers and the toes through wet sand, then slowly pulling them back. Opposite hand, opposite leg. Breathing out, breathing in. And while we do this, I'm going to put a glass of water between your shoulder blades and a glass of water at the base of your spine. And what we don't want is you spilling my water. Now, if you feel confident, you can squeeze, but hold that stable trunk. Slow and controlled, friends, okay? Slow and controlled. Keep that tail sticking straight out behind you. Breathing out. Breathing in. Strong arms, so strong shoulders. Shoulders drawn away from the ears. Chin drawn to the back of the neck. Arms and legs synchronized. And then when you've done anywhere up to 5 on each side, we're going to come back into that child's pose. Oh. Okay, my friends. So, good work today. Very good work. A very odd and disrupted session. So what I'm going to do is just bring us into our hip flexor stretch. We're going to do just some leg circles and then we're going to finish. Actually, we'll go into leg circles first. So we're going to bring these knees to one side, bring ourselves onto our backs again. Now, if you've got a towel or a stretchy band, what I'm going to get you to do is tilt this pelvis and feed yourself down. You can use this band just to support the movement. So bring yourself into that lying position if you're not confident coming up on your own. Okay, now we're going to see if we can find that neutral spine. Relax your shoulders. Then we're going to take this band over the front part of one foot. Now see if you can straighten out that leg. Okay, see if you can just bend, straighten it out. And what we're looking to see is where your back of the thigh flexibility is going to take you. So we're going to point that toe as much as you can. And we're going to try. Now, I know I'm working on mine at the moment, so I haven't quite got that 90-degree angle that I would like, that I normally have, but that's okay. So I've got that stretch point. I'm going to relax my shoulders now. Place that spirit level across your hip bones. Place that pencil in your big toe. Let's draw 5 circles one way and 5 the other. Now I'm going to put a little glass of champagne. I know it's Monday, but it is the 1st of March. I'm going to put a little glass of water or champagne on that supporting knee, and I don't want it spilt. Good. So we're breathing out as you move away from center, breathing in to return. Now, you don't have to use the band at all. I know that Simone usually does this without the band. I sort of need it. Good. All right, so we're working on hip mobility, core stability. Now, if you're finding that okay, when you change sides, see if you can straighten out that leg so we're not so stabilized by the foot and the hip. Lovely. Okay, that's my circle. It's going to have to get a little bit further away from me. So don't push into pain, friends. Just use this circle to work on increasing flexibility. Now we're going to bend that knee. We're going to flex the foot this time, okay? Now what we're going to do is let this foot move away from center. So you can keep that leg straight if you prefer. Hold on to that neutral spine so we're getting a nice bit of flexibility for the inner thigh. Good. And we're breathing out. Now as we breathe in, we're going to bring it up and keeping those hip bones on the floor, certainly keeping the shoulder blades on the floor, keeping that foot flexed. We're going to let this leg fall across the body so you'll feel this tension through the outside of the leg. Breathe out. Doesn't feel pleasant. Don't worry if it feels unpleasant, but don't let it push further than that unpleasant feeling. Good. And then we're going to come back, bend that knee, bring the other foot in, take that foot down, okay? It's tempting. I like to start with my leg bent just while I get my iron. Now we're looking up to the ceiling, so don't forget that glass of water. We're just going to play with that position, okay? Point that toe, put that pencil into the big toe, and we're going to draw those circles. Good, so keep that bell active, decide whether you need a bit of extra stability. Good. Keep that spirit level on the hip bones with that red dot in the middle. And we're breathing out as we move away from center, into center. Good. And then when we've done our 5 each way, we're going to flex that foot. And again, just letting that leg gently open. So keeping those hip bones nice and open, headlights shining straight up towards the ceiling. Nice neutral spine, feeling that stretch across the inner thigh. Good. Making sure we breathe out, we breathe in, and then letting the same happen. So letting this leg just gently fall across. I'm keeping my foot flexed. Breathing out. Breathing in. Bringing it back. And then bringing it in. Okay, so we're going to take this band off the foot. We're going to see if we can bring ourselves into that kneeling position. We are going to now come into our hip flexor stretch. So this is where we're going to take one foot, slide it forwards. This is where the socks are really useful, I always think. So we're going to try and avoid arching the back as we lift. So keep pushing this hip gently forwards. Now, if this is enough stretch for this hip flexor, stay here. If you can, though, if you feel able, see if we can bring ourselves up to that position. So the knee and the foot are still hip width apart, okay? Now we're lifting the chest. Now there's 2 parts to this area. So if we can, this time we're going to reach up and we're going to gently turn that chest towards the bent knee, the front knee. And then we're going to come back and down. We're going to change legs. Good. Okay, let's take the other foot, slide it forwards. That's good. That's good. If you have to do that, that's fine, okay? Just do what works for you. Lengthen through that neck. Relax the shoulders. Just get used to that stretch before you lift. Sometimes, you know, the muscles take a bit of time and one side might take more time than the other. And then push that tail down between those knees and lift. Now, if we can, draw those shoulder blades down, gently turn, breathe out. Good. We're going to breathe in and bring it down. Good. Oh, and relax, my friends. Okay. So we're going to tuck those toes under. I'm going to just see if I can move my camera to show you the full roll down, because I actually usually do it so you can't see me. So I'm going to just bring it back to its original position. Okay, and I'm going to do it from over here. So let's just check you can see. From this position, this child's pose, we're going to see if we can tuck those toes underneath. So the feet are hip width apart. Walk these hands back and bring yourself onto the balls of those feet. So the head is relaxed, shoulders relaxed. We're going to straighten the legs just as much as you feel comfortable. Let those arms, so it doesn't matter if those arms aren't on the floor anymore, they could be here. Now tighten that belt, push your heels into the floor, squeeze these glutes and see if you can stack that spine. So we're using these tummy muscles, core muscles, control that movement up. Once we're here, let the shoulders slide into place. Then the head lifts, looking straight ahead. Good. And we're going to stand in that lovely position that we stood at the start. We're going to take shoulder rolls up and back. And as those shoulders fall down away from the ears, just breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Then we're going to lift one arm. We're going to breathe in. Come into that side bend. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let's do the same on the other side. Floating this arm up. Breathing out all the while. Just that belt active, that tail hanging down to the heels. Now we're going to see if we can look towards this shoulder. So I'm looking towards my right shoulder, taking my right hand, then very gently drawing that head so I'm looking towards the hip. We're going to release, and we're going to do the same on the other side. So we're going to look towards the shoulder, take this hand, gently, gently draw this head so we're looking towards the hip. And then we're going to release. And we're going to finish with that breath in, that breath out, breath in, and breath out. Let's take one more. Slow breath out. Relax the shoulders. Relax those hands. Give those feet a little shake. Give those legs a little shake. And thank you for finding me. I'm sorry about that disruption at the start. What I'll do is link everything up and clip off the bits where I'm going, oh, what's happened? And send you out the link so that those that missed it can get it. Thank you for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Fancy there being technical issues, but hopefully see you next week. No technical issues. Goodbye.